Hey everyone. So I've been required, is that the right word? I've been requested to make a video. um, what's being asked of me is to make a soothing video. A soothing video to offer some comfort for you in this world that we're in at the minute. You know, if you can't see what's happening, if you haven't been on it for years and years and years and built your foundations of understanding and knowledge, I mean, personally, I've experimented with everything to find out what is actually true and what actually isn't true. Like, I've done that over the years, and so now I'm in a position where not only have I got my spiritual guidance, but I've also got my practical guidance as well. And obviously, you know, I could like stand in front of a whiteboard and, you know, show it you that way, but I've tried that before and it didn't work. It didn't work for me. So I'm just going to do these videos as and when it happens for me, the need. I'm following my instincts. So this soothing video is to put your mind at rest. Right, have you ever been bullied before? Has anyone ever picked on you before? Has anyone ever threatened you before? And like, they've threatened you because they think that they're in some kind of a position of power, right? Now, you can either bow down to a bully or you can stand up to them. And seriously, right, we are being bullied. That's all it is. We're being bullied. Like, there's a children's story called Alice in Wonderland, right? And like the queen's like, off with your head to everybody, right? And everyone's like scared of the queen. But then Alice just realizes, listen, they're just a pack of cards. Like, she sees through the illusion. The same as in The Wizard of Oz, right? It's the same thing. The Wizard of Oz, in the finish, the Toto, the doggy, pulls the curtain and behind there is just like a little old dude. Like, that's it. It was all trickery. And that's what's happening here. It's all trickery. It's deception. Now, on the legal side of it, when you were registered into this system, they took your name, which was given to them legally and by free will, and they've used it to their own benefit and advantage. In 1666, the Sestucavie Proof of Life Act was passed, right? And it was all to do with the sea, and it was all to do with people lost at sea and stuff like that, apparently, right? But if that was true, right, and if they were sticking to the letter of the law, right, then when I was doing all of my research and I contacted all the relevant people and did all the relevant things to get out of that contract, and I have got out of it, but they didn't help me in any way, shape or form, and I started to see that it was, you know, all, excuse the pun, a bit fishy. So Google will tell you that the 1666 Sestucavie Proof of Life Act has nothing to do with your birth certificate, but it absolutely is. And it was created in 66 and 67, right? But they call it the 1666, because they wanted those sixes in there, because their baddie that they're trying to scare us all with is actually who they are. It's their lower nature. It's the lower nature of humanity that is the devil, right? So that's the legal side of it. The spiritual side of it is, well, hang on a minute. So the legal side of your name. So every single, like, they've normalized so much for us, right? And we just take everything so normal. But you see what's happening every single time somebody says, can I have your name, in a corporate fashion? Can I have your name? Like, you're supposed to say no. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you're supposed to say no. And I have done that. I have done that in 2016 or something. I said, no, you can't, I'm sorry. And I haven't used it since. I use it with certain corporations, but they're the only ones that I've gone up to. Like, you know, I've contacted them and I've said, listen, I'm not playing this game, but I am going to use my name, the name, as a kind of a monopoly piece to access your services. But I've made sure that they knew, and I did it all in writing. So you can still access the services, but you just have to do it more carefully. Because the name is your kind of, well, I call it the mark of the beast. I call it the mark of the beast. Because believe you me, I've had no gas in my house for 12 months and I'm not complaining. I'm really not complaining, because I've adapted and I'm fine, right? I'm fine. I'm happy. I've got other ways of doing things. It doesn't have to be their way. But I've refused to use the legal name since 2016, and I gave the name back to the church in 2017. I gave back to Caesar what belonged to Caesar. I gave back to God what belonged to God. And that's in their Bible, right? In the Bible from the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, right? So I did all that. And I just had a conversation with our local MP, Emma Lowell Buck, or whatever she's calling herself these days. God bless her. Because I think she's changed her name as well. And I saw her in the street and I said to her, you know, Emma, because I mean, obviously I've been on her for years trying to help me find different ways of doing things without using the legal name, so that I can establish something for people who feel like me, who want to get out of the system. Excuse me. Anyway, this was just the other day. I saw her in the street. She was walking towards me. I mean, she was laid on a silver platter for me, really, because I've been asking the higher forces to bring me a situation where I can have a conversation with her. And here it was. Because you can't make an appointment with your MP without using your name and your address. I'm telling you, you've got to realise this. You can't do anything without the legal name. And if you stop using the legal name, you are in your power. And they can't touch you. And I said to her, you know, I just want a hot bath. And she says, well, I know, and we want to help you, but we can't help you unless you give us your name. But if I give them my name, what I'm actually doing is I'm saying, right, okay, I'm going to play your game. Come on. But their rules are arbitrary. That means that they change them all the time to suit themselves. It's called theft by conversion. So you must stop using the legal name, okay? Believe me, just try it. I know you might feel a bit silly, but trust me, when it's happened a couple of times and they go, yeah, you've got to pay your money. Oh, do I? Right, okay, well, just say this to them. Well, who is it that owes the money? And they'll say your name. And you say, yes, but that name is actually a legal entity, corporation, that was created without my knowledge. So, you know, how do I actually owe you any money? Would you like to prove to me how I owe you money? And then they'll say something like, well, you signed a contract. And you say, yeah, but the original contract that was created wasn't in full knowledge, because you could say this, you know, I'm speaking as you. I didn't realise that this legal name that I was been using, thinking it was who I am, is actually a false identity. And therefore, I don't owe you anything because I'm not that identity. I thought I was. I've been gaslit by this system to believe that that's who I am. But actually, I'm a natural being, an aspect of light from the cosmos. And I was actually contracted at birth by my parents who didn't know anything about it either. And therefore, I have no contract with you. Therefore, how can I owe you any money? I'm telling you. That's how it works. If you've got direct debits, gas and electric direct debits or whatever, just contact them and just say, listen, I need out of this contract. And they'll say, oh, you can't do that. And you say, well, listen, you know, this name that I've made, I made this contract with you, thinking it was in full knowledge, is not who I am. It's not me. But if it does serve you to use it, then you can. You just then tell them, I'm going to use this, but I'm staying in full control. It's like saying all rights reserved after your signature. You can say, well, yeah, you know, like I am in control of this situation. I've been miscontracted, if that's a word, with your company. And so I want to renegotiate my terms and do it on your terms because you're the boss. In corporate law, there's something called person of considerable control. And that's who you are. Because your corporation that you've been doing business with all this time that you think is you but actually isn't, right? That corporation, you are the person in control of that corporation. And they've been deceiving your control out of you by just going, oh, hey, hello, yes, it's such and such. How are you doing? Have a nice day and everything. Yeah, can I just have your name, please? No, you can't. I'm sorry. No, you can't. Because I've had some new information saying that I'm actually in a lot more control of the situation than I originally believed. And so therefore I want to renegotiate the contract and stuff like that, right? There's some, that's soothing for you, right? And also I want to soothe your heart because like when we're watching telly and that and like they're all going, oh, and we're doing this ID thing and everything, right? What I've told you is the absolute truth about your identity, right? Your true identity is that you're consciousness. You are consciousness, nothing more, nothing less. Everything else is your own creation, right? The government is a corporation, right? They are not a living entity, although corporations in law are treated as persons these days, legal persons. So the corporations have as much rights as you do in business, right? But because they've built it all on money and they've got more money than us, they appear to have more power and control, but they don't. The corporations, they're dead entities. They're fictional entities. Your name is a legal entity, a corporation. The government is a legal name, a corporation. Nothing more, nothing less. And they have only got any power over you that you give them. Even if you had been arrested for something, they would not be able to hold you if you didn't use the legal name. It's called the Miranda rights, right? If you're not given your rights, you can't get arrested for anything. And your right is that you don't have to use that legal name if you don't want to. You don't. It's a fact. And all they're going to do is jurisdiction switcheroo you from your natural status as a child of the universe, as a part of the universe, right? They snatch that from you the second you give your name. Because it's a con, it's a scam, it's a deception. And this world that we've been led to believe is the real world isn't the real world. And if you start experimenting, like if you're not happy with the government, right, then just contact somebody, like phone your council or go with your face to face, right? And just tell them, just say, listen, you've been listening to Fifi Starchild, and they already know me, you know, and just say, I've been listening to Fifi Starchild, and she says this and that and the other, and so I want to implement this. And they'll go, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. And then you just go, right, well, why can't I? Because it's true that the government stole my identity. It's true. That one piece of paper is the cause of all your problems, I'm telling you now. And this is why they're digging in on the ID, on the digital ID. They're trying to distract you from the fact that they've pinched your ID. You know when they say that a dog always returns to its own vomit? Do you know when they say that the criminal always goes back to the scene of the crime? Well, that's what's happening in the natural law, in the natural world, in the natural forces that you live by, right? The natural forces are that they are being forced to show you their crime. And their crime is the birth certificate. Their crime is they've stolen your identity. Your true identity, and here's the soothing bit, your true identity is that you're a part of everything. And the breath that you breathe is you. Your heartbeat is the universe. There is an I behind everything. If you and I were in the same room together, and we would say that we are we, that we are us, but on a deeper level still, we are consciousness, and so is everything else. So that means that between the two of us, here and now, is an I that is me, and an I that is you. And that is our true identity. And when we all start realizing this and catching on to it, right, that's when we'll fix everything just by natural accord, because our inner world will then start to create vibrations that will fill our body and fill our field, and then the outside of our field will begin to resonate with it. And that's how we fix everything. That's the only way how we fix everything, because that's how we manage to mess everything up in the first place, is from our inside, which is why they had to trick us from birth. If you go into your heart and just feel that love vibration, I know it's not easy for everybody to just be able to feel that love, right? So I just want you to think about somebody that you really love, or something that makes you feel love without any kind of pain, right? Any kind of hurt. Something simple. And just feel that love. And just feel it, right? And let it fill your body and let it fill your field, like an egg-shaped area around your body, and just sit in that for a minute and just say, hey, this is my identity. I can be whoever I want. I can call myself whatever I want. You know, like, you can. But in the legal terms, just feel that love. That's your identity. That's who you came in as. That's who they stole from you. And the more you sit in it, it's called presence. The more you sit in it, the more the parts of you that have been disregarded or forgotten or exiled, those parts of you that you have to say, no, we can't feel that, and no, we can't think that, and no, we can't say that. The more you sit in that presence, in that love field, the more those aspects of yourself will return to you. And that is called presence. And when that happens, you'll start getting more confident. You'll start feeling more yourself. You'll be happier. Reality will start bending to your will. It will, I promise. So this is the soothing video for you. And hopefully I've managed to be able to be soothing, because that was what I wanted to do. We've even got soothing lights. We've got a little camera there with a little candle and the little fairy lights. And this is live. This is live. Look, I'll give you a wave. Oh, that's my hand waving. This is live. But I'm having a duvet day and I didn't want to get ready yet. You see, so if you don't want to do something, don't do it. Just find a better way of doing stuff. But seriously, remember, they have no power over you whatsoever. And if you start looking this stuff up, you can start getting a bit brave, and then you can start experimenting like I did. Okay? Good luck. I'll see you later. Please like and share this information. Pass it on. Thank you.